I don't know. I mean, I guess if the fans had hated me, they probably wouldn't have brought me back. But I think I hope that had something to do with it, because I would like to think that the fans are excited about my return. But I also think it's a really organic part of the story. It's not a plot line that is forced. I mean, it makes sense. Joe grew up knowing these girls, and they essentially share a father, not biologically. So it really makes sense that now that he's back from the war, that he would still be involved with their lives. So I think that's the real reason, because it sort of feels like an inevitable part of the storytelling. I mean, I think it's incredibly fun, but I also think it does the wonderful thing of balancing the sort of excitement and the monsters and the action with like a really strong underlying story about family and relationships. I mean, you watch that show and you watch Tom and Nicole together, and it's the most compelling duo on television. I mean, they're so charismatic, and it's such an emotionally centered story. And we get that also with Lindy this season, and with our new characters, with Lance and Nikki and Shannon. And so I think that's what the appeal is. I mean, the action and the fantasy is only effective if it's grounded in sort of real human storytelling, and I think that's what the writers are doing a fantastic job with from the get-go, and especially this season. Well, without spoiling too much, I'll say that a big part of my storyline with Jenny this season is digging into my father's work and wanting to find out more about what he was doing and how he got involved and sort of what that means for the greater picture. So Sheriff Corbin's presence is very much going to be felt in our storyline. I don't know. I hope that would be wonderful. I mean, we haven't yet, but we're not done with the season, so anything could happen. But I'd love to. I'd love to work with Clancy, because I think what's amazing about Clancy Brown is, I mean, he was in the pilot episode, and then a couple flashbacks. So his screen time in the show was minimal, but he's so looming. And I mean, it's because as an actor, he's got that warmth and that presence where you feel like, oh, I want him to be my dad. I want him to be my mentor. And I think it's amazing that you feel like he's still a part of this world, even though he was killed. Right. I think I'd say the jealousy was something that was very present in the episode that I did in season 2, and by the end of that, we'd resolved that somewhat, and I think throughout the course of that, Abby sort of made Joe understand why his father had been so busy, and I think after turning into a Wendigo and eating most of your best friends and your entire platoon in Afghanistan, Joe sort of realizes, oh, there's something much bigger going on that my father was a part of. And I think in this season, rather than it being jealousy about that, now it's actually my father was doing something amazing, and I want to be a part of that somehow. So that conflict isn't going to be so severe, I think.
Working.
It's great now, and I don't know if you guys know this, so the actual guy in the Wendigo costume wasn't me.
Oh, really?
That was one of our wonderful actors, Marty Matulis, who did... I think he was Sandman and he was Moloch a few times. Yeah. He's done a lot of our creature work because it takes him about 5 hours to get in all that stuff. So if they're shooting a scene where it's me and then I'm transforming in or out of the Wendigo, they would have to stop production for 5 hours while I changed. So it makes a lot more sense, and it's a lot easier for me to have this other actor come in and do that. And he's also like 2 feet taller than me and all that, and he's a total trooper. So, and you'll see more of Marty as a number of different creatures this season. He'll be back for more.